Welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI, here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. I'm the coach of PRI, Rick Daly, along with the I in PRI, the Prep Recruiting Insider, the man for which this show was developed, Renee Nato. And we are also joined today, the head of Warren Easton Eagle football, Coach Tony Hull. Coach Hull, we appreciate you being here with us today. Welcome to PRI.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Tony, you're one of our favorites, man. You've been on a bunch of times, and I always enjoy having you on. You're going back a little bit. Now, you played for Percy Dewey, correct? At
Correct.
Reed,
Correct.
and played at ULL under Ricky Bustle. And you find yourself as a head coach at 24 years old, but before that, you were industrial engineer at NASA.
Correct.
That was kind of a strange combination to go for an industrial engineer to be a head coach at a young age, but it kind of went hand in hand, didn't it?
It did. It taught, working in the engineering field, working for NASA, it teaches you time management. You have a lot of logistical moves you have to do, a lot of planning, a lot of preparation, and that makes you, I think that's some of the tangibles a good football coach needs. So it helped me out a whole lot. I wish you would have told those guys that I tried to get jobs with before Warren Easton that it was a good thing, because it was crazy how it got started. I tried so hard to get into the high school game, and I didn't have any networking friends. I didn't have any associates, so nobody really gave me opportunity. It's funny how the coaching industry is not really about a lot about what you know, is about who you know. And I didn't know a lot of people, so I had to get a couple doors slammed in my face and a couple resumes balled up in front of my face before Warren Easton gave me my first opportunity. But it's been great.
I know about having doors slammed in my face. I was turned down 12 times before I got my first head coaching job. That's why I'm so old. It took me a long time to get to be a head coach. So that's part of what we teach our players, is that no matter how persecuted you think you are, how disadvantaged you think you are, I'm pretty good at what I'm doing, and I got turned down a bunch of times.
Correct. You are so correct. And I think that's what makes my kids so special, because they play with a chip on their shoulder. They every time we go somewhere, people say, Coach, your players are so enthused. They play with such tenacity. It's like, well, they play for a coach that had doors slammed in their face, and they've had doors slammed in their face. So we use that at Warren Easton to develop a chip on our shoulder, to prove ourselves to the football community.
I remember you telling me a year ago, Tony, that Ed Orgeron told you that this group reminded him a lot of that Miami Hurricane group that he coached back then. There's a little bit, you guys play with a lot of energy and a high level.
We do. And when he made that statement last year, it made a lot of sense to me. But the reason why we were so successful this year, because of that mentality. I think at Warren Easton, we've developed that culture of playing with a lot of enthusiasm, competing at a high level. And I think that's gotten us over a hump, especially this year, in a couple of games where it could have went either way.
And that's part of having a program. You're not just coaching a team, you're developing a program, which you had to do from scratch at Warren Easton. So I think your success this year, and you wound up 12-2, your success this year is because you have developed a program and a basis of operation for which to develop players.
I think we have. My coaching staff has done a great job. I was watching a local high school show, and Coach J.T. Curtis gave my staff the ultimate compliment you could have ever given. He said that I work out with these guys in the summertime. We throw 7-on-7s together. He said that those guys really coach, and they have a great football foundation, and it's set for us to compete year in and year out. And that was a humbling statement that could have ever been made about me and my staff, and I really appreciated it. It just, it goes back to our hard work, just trying to be as good of coaches and mentors that we can be. And once you lay that foundation, which really starts off with loving kids. If you don't love kids, if you don't overextend yourself to being there for kids, you can't really coach for us. So when that foundation is laid and you work on your craft of coaching, you have no choice but to develop a good foundation for a football program.
Academics is real important at Warren Easton Canal Street. But as you just alluded to, you're a dad, a coach, an advisor, a mentor to these guys. So you wear a lot of hats at Warren Easton.
I do. I really, really do. And that's what makes this place so special. And I guess it's anywhere where I've been, because I came from Mandeville and I did the same thing with Coach LeCompte, who's a great mentor, a great guy, a great coach. I appreciate everything he's ever done for me and my family. But you have to wear those hats, especially when you're raising kids from 13, 14 years old up to 18, 19 years old. You have to wear those hats, and you have to wear it during the season, in the off season, during recruiting season. I mean, you have to be there for them. So you have to be on top of your game. But it all starts out with loving them. If you don't love them, if you love a kid, if you do right or wrong, they're gonna know you always have their back. They don't really care what the outcome is, as long as you're loving them. And we preach that at the school. As long as we're loving kids, that's all we really care about.
And an interesting season this year. Won your first game against Jesuit, lost your second game, a close one to Evangel, and then you ran off 11 wins in a row. Talk about that process. We'll talk about Neville in a minute, but let's talk about. It's not like all of a sudden you started relaxing and just started enjoying the ride. It's still a grind, isn't it?
Oh no, it was definitely a grind, and I think the guys can attest that Evangel game was an eye opener for us. It showed us who we really were. We had to make some adjustments. We had to clean some things up in order to be successful. And I knew going into it was going to be a tough game, but again, that environment of love and taking care of one another and playing with a purpose, started to take over. We at 3rd and 19, we really don't feel like we get the respect we deserve. People always attested to, oh, you're just talented, or you just have this, or you just have that. They never give us the credit of the hard work that we get. And the kids take that to heart. Again, it goes with the chip on their shoulder. They play with a serious chip on their shoulder. They went to the season saying, hey, we're going to put last year behind us, because majority of those guys didn't play last year. We're going to show everybody who we really are, who Warren Easton is, who we know the family is. So they did a great job, and I think the Evangel game kind of showed us where we were at fault in some places, and they allowed us to fix it.
Recruiting process going on right now, Tony, and you kind of keep a really close eye on that situation. How involved are you in the recruiting process with your guys?
Well, when I first started out, I wasn't too involved. However, I realized how such a dirty game it is. Jabari made a reference to it as more of a business now, and when it becomes a business as opposed of looking out for the betterment of kids, it always gets dirty, and it's kind of disheartening what goes on in the recruiting business. However, so now I'm really into it, and what I usually do is I ask a kid, what do you want in school? What are you looking for? And I hold them to that, and I keep all other riffraffs away from them. The schools that I know are not going to have the best interest at heart, the schools that I know that slow play kids from New Orleans, are the schools that have not done well by kids in New Orleans, and I try to pressure some of the local schools to react a little faster than normal, because they, being from Louisiana, they like to slow play or whatever. So I try to be real intense in the recruiting process, not deciding where they go, however, monitoring and governing to where none of the foolishness from the business part side of it affects the kid.
That's right. And beware of the street agent, as we preach so much on Prep Recruiting Insider. That's Coach Tony Hall of the Warren Easton Eagles. Does an exceptional job every year, and it really became evident this year after making it to the finals last year, going all the way to the semifinals this year. Great job, Coach Hall. 2 great Warren Easton Eagles athletes after this timeout. This is PRI.